let's go to your phone calls. Charles in Arkansas, Sergeant National Guard, then Scott, who's Army, Michael in Kentucky, who's Army. I haven't even gotten to any of the other news yet. It's all insane, everything. Try to be calm about this. It's just, are you being asked if you'll fire on U.S. citizens? Are you being prepared in your area?
I personally have not got that order yet.
Good. Have you heard from others that it's going on? Because it is confirmed in the news they're asking this.
Alex, I don't even know where to start. It just doesn't make any sense. Like, when I woke up about 6 months ago, it was my 6-year anniversary for being in the military. And this whole time before then, I didn't even understand what was leading up to it. And, like, now I think back, and there's little pieces that start fitting together. Like, I'm in the desert doing desert training in California, and I'm going to the DFAC with people from Turkey and other countries, and, man, it's freaking me out, Alex. It's freaking me out, dude.
It's a global government army where they can invade anybody they want.
When I ran across your video for the first time, like, I think it was Endgame, and I seen it, my jaw dropped. And I believed every single bit of it because I'm an intelligent individual, and I can see what's happening and what's going on. And I've tried to wake up so many people. Every person I seen, my Facebook got shut off, and people started calling me higher up than me in the military, and were telling me that I need to stop saying what I'm saying, right? Like,
let me ask you this. What do you make of the Fox News thing? We already knew about this. It's part of the general training. FEMA's coming in, the counterintelligence operatives, and they're telling them they're enemies of the people, and they're telling them you can't give money to a Christian group, a Tea Party group, or we'll court-martial you. I mean, they're openly saying you have no First Amendment. It's incredible.
First time I heard about anything religious-wise, I was told that we are not allowed to witness to people anymore to try to turn them to Jesus. And I'm a Pentecostal. When I said...
Well, I'll tell you what, stay there. I'm going to come back to you and then to Scott, Michael, Jim, and Les. But this is why this is important. Only Christians can't do it. This is off-duty, by the way. Off-duty, you're not allowed. Again, they don't have that authority, folks. Yeah, that was earlier last year. We're going to come right back and let you finish up with that, Charles, and hurriedly go to Scott, Michael, Jim, Les, and others. Stay with us. Alex Jones here with a very important announcement for truth seekers. We've carried a lot of amazing films and books over the years on the online video bookstore at Infowars.com. And out of all the titles we've carried, one stands out because it is just so chillingly convincing. And that's Dreams from My Real Father by Joel Gilbert, available at Infowars.com. This film exposes the fraud that Obama is like nothing I've seen. If you want to know who Obama's real daddy is, this is the film for you. Don't forget, your purchase supports our broadcast and our growing media network. You'll also find at InfoWarsShop.com, None Dare Call a Conspiracy by Gary Allen, the book that woke me up. We're also carrying Behind the Green Mask, UN Agenda 21 by Rosa Corey. This book is coffin nails to the globalist takeover. The Greater Good, the most professional and up-to-date film I've ever seen exposing the scourge that is vaccines. These titles and a lot more are all available at InfoWarsShop.com. Paul Watson's got a more detailed article than Fox News out. Four soldiers told that Christians, Tea Partiers, and are a radical terror threat. But the issue there isn't even that. That's been going on for a long time, and it's total treason and totally illegal and domestic authoritarian takeover. The issue is that they're saying don't give money. Like, don't give money to Al-Qaeda or we'll arrest you under NDAA. They're saying we will arrest you if you give to evangelical groups. Evangelical groups are probably in the top 2, maybe the biggest group in this country after Catholics. I mean, that's like saying 60, 70 million people that identify themselves with evangelicals type stuff. You don't give them money. That's how you politically crush people, is you say, don't be part of this. Credit Suisse is coming out and launching gay-friendly company index, saying they'll do business with people that socially promote the gay lifestyle. And again, it's not like, oh, here's my bank. Everything is going to be leveraged money-wise to make you comply. It's authoritarianism. This is the takeover, folks. They've already got our kids. We put up with anything. We let them tell us that we can't bring sack lunches for our kids, that paper bags are racist. Why not? We do whatever they say. Of course they're telling, briefly, I want to go to your calls. Charles in Arkansas, real fast. This did come out in the news last year where they said, even off duty, you don't tell people about Jesus. Go ahead.
Yes, that's true. That's true. I got to tell you what started my awakening, though. Okay, 9 months before my 6th-year anniversary in the military, I went on a mission, and it was to deliver vehicles to all the armories around Arkansas. The amount of armored vehicles that we were bringing, like, it kind of, you can't just see that and not think about there's something wrong here. And then we start getting turret kits. And I've been in for 6 years, and I have never seen heavy machine guns, that many. And then now I work on night vision goggles. We have night vision goggles for every single person in our unit. That's we're a maintenance unit.
Yeah, for those that don't know, and this is what I was told by family this is like 8 years ago, they were in Austin at the air base, shifting to where even the maintenance people are training for not riot control, seek and destroy operations against the American people. And that's it, a domestic army with better equipment than frontline soldiers have got in Iraq for us. And Iraq was a laboratory, the Pentagon admitted in one document I saw, for America. This is all checkpoint insurgency, Fallujah style stuff. So, yes. Okay, so basically you're seeing it all built up with these arms caches. And those are in the news as well.
And then I was just telling family members, like, how weird it was. So I just went and searched conspiracies, and I started seeing your name pop up everywhere. So I was like, oh, man, I got to check this guy out, YouTube it. And Endgame's the first thing that pops up. And like I said, it dropped my jaw. That's all I got to say.
Well, God bless you, sir. And just how many people in your units that you work with, how many of them now understand what's happening?
Oh, my God. The first time I ever heard it, like, anyone talking badly about the government was last drill, okay? And even larger sergeants, and every single person is talking about it, and it's the chatter. It's 80% of my unit.
Well, let's be clear. Let's be clear, though. This is not the government. Just like if a hijacker hijacks an airplane, and psychologically they do this, puts on the captain's uniform, because people submit then. Okay? I mean, it's like if you came home when you're 10 years old, and a guy's wearing your dad's work uniform and says, hi, son, I'm your dad. And your mom's hanging there and and all this stuff's going, you're like, you're not my dad. They're like, yes, I am your papa. This is not the government. This is an infiltration. Well, God bless you. That's the best news I've heard. But let me tell you, they could really put on some theatrics, a militia attacking a school, detonating a nuke with Al-Qaeda. You're like, that doesn't make sense. Militias don't like Al-Qaeda. The scripts are saying that. That's what they're pre-scripting. I'm telling you. I mean, folks, we're in a Mexican standoff with the New World Order, basically.
Jakari Jackson here, and I want to talk to you for a second about water. You know about ProPure, our flagship water purification system, but check out some of our portable water filter products at InfoWarsStore.com. The clearly filtered water pitcher. Also, for those of you on the go, we have the Athlete Edition filtered water bottle and the RAD Eliminator Pro filtered sports bottle that removes radiation. And keep in mind, we have replacement filters for all of these products. The ever-popular grab-and-go bag favorite, the Life Straw, the Crystal Quest shower filter system, and the Aquapod kit, great for mass storage of water. And while you're at the InfoWars shop, pick up a copy of our latest book, 31 Days to Survival. You can find all this and more at the InfoWarsStore.com. And don't forget, it's your support that funds our operation. Sign up for our free newsletter at InfoWars.com/newsletter.
Here's London Telegraph. Offensive Halloween costumes banned by U.S. University. You can't be a redneck, too. They've already said that's racist. Not that making fun of white folks is bad, but just wanting to be a redneck, rednecks are racist. Working in the countryside and being white and working is racist. And now University of Colorado Boulder tells students to avoid costumes including cowboys, Indians, white trash, or anything politically deemed offensive. That's right. Mind control. And brown paper bags are racist. No, they're not. It's about making you shut down and be scared to talk and learn and interface. It's authoritarianism. If you just joined us, Infowars.com is reporting, but so is Fox News, They are telling Army soldiers that if you give money to Christian groups, you will be court-martialed and arrested because evangelicals that believe in the second coming of Christ are terrorists. You cannot make this up. We're taking military and police calls. Who's been holding the longest now? That'd be Scott. Then I'm going to go to Jim and Daniel and Les, who's a police officer. And we're going to hold our guest that's coming up, John Perkins, till 20 after. We're going to go to him after we go to your calls. Scott in North Carolina says you're in the Army. What is your take on saying that Christians and Tea Party period are terrorists?
Well, that's flat out ridiculous, obviously. Just to know I'm out of the military, a few years separated. But when I was in, I didn't pick up on any of that sentiment. We had briefings regarding domestic type terrorist threat or political extremist type organizations. I personally don't recall much of that. But you know, it's just a total overstep and attack and pretty much a brainwashing attempt.
No, that's it. That's it, Scott. It's total authoritarianism. Thank you for calling in. God bless you. I want to talk to folks who specifically are in right now or police who are getting these briefings or have gotten similar things. I mean, we know about the briefings. We have links. This is confirmed. But I want to hear what you think about this. And it'd be like if aliens landed and said, we are your leaders. Anyone that doesn't want to be under, you know, our control is a traitor. I mean, it's that ridiculous. Les in Oklahoma, who's a police officer, what is your take on this, Les?
Oh, Elliot.
Hey, buddy.
Hey, the point I want to make is that sometime back, police departments were able to get M16 full auto Colt A1 M16s from the government for $78 a piece, and that was delivered for $78. Now, the full auto M16. To me, that is something that you really don't need unless you're going to be going against somebody else with full auto weapons. But I think that to me, it's just part of them gearing up to put munitions in place for when something does happen.
That's right. No, it's on record. Under Brigade Homeland, they are putting in every sector, and they're different sizes depending on the geographic area and population. It's on record, sir. See, everything you've already reverse engineered is in documents. You can go look them up. They are caching the armored vehicles, the weapons, everything, so they can come get them when they need them and take them from you, and then have special federalized special event units that are going to be expanded that are really federal auxiliary, as you know.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I know that. But you know, for $78 for a full auto M16, I'm not talking 3-round burst. I'm talking full auto M16.
I'll tell you what, Les, stay there. Don't hang up. I'm going to come right back to you. It's a short segment. Are we choosing our own destiny, or has it been pre-selected for us?
As we've moved through history, every great leader has had to understand the potential of information.
Billions of dollars have been spent privately and publicly looking at how to tap into your psyche.
From compulsory state education to the Hollywood media brainwashing machine, we are kept in perpetual bondage to the ideas that shape our actions.
When somebody obscures that feedback loop between you observing and testing it out and verifying it, they can take total control of your awareness.
All of this is happening so fast, you need to be ahead of the game.
How to engineer the opinion of the American people so that they would not only endorse but demand a war.
Oh, there's another one. Another plane just hit.
State of Mind, because there's a war on for your mind. Get your copy of State of Mind, the movie, at Infowars.com. And remember, every order at InfoWarsStore.com receives a free citizen rulebook. Headlines up on Infowars.com. Forded soldiers told that Christians, Tea Partiers, a radical terror threat. But more importantly, they've been told by the counterterrorism, counterinsurgency federal officers that now command them under Homeland Security. Oh, that's now official. The new fifth column, literally, quite literally, officially Pentagon run now via Homeland Security. So they've merged the two, putting a former Pentagon official over it. Yad Johnson, his name's actually Jad Johnson, But you have all of this going on, and they tell them you will be court-martialed if you give money to any evangelical group or if you give money to any Tea Party group, which are legal, lawful groups being harassed and persecuted by the IRS. That's why some of the top evangelicals and the Southern Baptists as well came out and said, turn your guns in this year. Because they've been told by the IRS. It's come out in Congress that they tell them, stop protesting abortion clinics and we won't seize your bank accounts or arrest you. And they go, but we're not doing anything wrong. We're a 501c3. We're a charity, a Christian charity against abortion. We're going to arrest you. And a lot of them go, okay, I guess I won't. And they go, good, victory. They want to shut down our political activities. This is so illegal. This is so evil. This is what we were brought up to learn about Russia and China and Cuba. And they're doing it. And we got a police officer, Les in Oklahoma, talking about how they're giving him M16s and weapons basically for nothing. Armored vehicles are being pre-deployed everywhere. Then we're going to go to Michael and Jim and Daniel, and then we've got John Perkins, Confessions of an Economic Hitman, joining us. Les, finish up any other points you want to make, and I'm sure you guys get your federal in-service training to get the free federal money that's not really free. I mean, it's in all those manuals that anybody that talks about a second coming of Christ is a radical. Ron Paul's a radical. A lot of them say Alex Jones is evil and a radical. We get those reports. Anybody that doesn't like the Federal Reserve is evil. Returning veterans are the #1 enemy. I mean, have you been taught that in your department?
No, we haven't been taught that here in our department, and I will say yet anyway. And as far as people being radical, or you being radical, or whoever, anybody who's aware of the truth of what's going on, they're going to call radical. I know that for myself, if I am ordered to take guns from Christians, to take guns from anybody, I am one officer, and I know of many, many other officers who will throw their badge and commission cards on the desk and go home.
Well, that's a good thing to do. The problem is then down the road as they shut the economy down, you get put on a list. So what do we do when the next phase comes and they come to throw you in a gulag with a bunch of communists? That's who they're going to use as their enforcers, literally torturing us to death. I mean, I'm not kidding. That's what they do everywhere else. That's what the weathermen that raised Obama planned. We have all the training, films, all their plans that came out. I'm not kidding. If they could get away with it, that's their goal. So what do we do at that point?
Well, at that point, I know myself that I am not going to go to a gulag. I'm not going to go anywhere. I'm a free American, and I'm just not going to go. I will not lay down and say, okay, I'm going. No, that will not happen. And I know many, many other officers that they will not lay down and go.
Well, God bless you, sir, and I appreciate your call. And that's an honorable thing to say. So many police now won't even say that on record. And here's how it'll work, though. They'll say, Sergeant, whatever his name is, Sergeant Jones or Sergeant Brown or Sergeant Wachowski or Sergeant Gonzalez, whatever the name is, he had child porn. He had illegal guns. He was selling them. He killed his wife, something like that. You'll know when you see it happen to a bunch of people, it's pure bull. I mean, just know that up front. Like all these generals they've been kicking out, we now have Navy SEAL sources, public and also off record, that have confirmed the Navy Admiral was given the litmus test for gun confiscation and other issues and was removed, and that we have another source saying that, yes, the word is on the other general. It had something to do with the missing nukes and a litmus test, that he was criticizing the chain of command above him and saying this is unconstitutional. And now you don't hear from those generals and admirals. I mean, they are just culling the military out right now. Because, I mean, I'm not even saying these generals are like angels or anything. The point is, though, it takes a lot to really gut a country and to really shine on to evil. I mean, when you shine on to the New World Order, I want to be clear. If we had boss hogs taking over who were just looting some stuff and being corrupt, I would criticize them. I would fight them. But I wouldn't be up on air freaking out. I mean, they don't like us. They want to extinguish us. Tyrants have always hated Americans because we've been free and rebellious and armed. They've got to have a world government with disarmed slaves. They got to take us down. They're not secure till they've done it. And they're using the communist Chinese and their 1,300,000,000 poor souls that are their slaves to leverage everybody out and as the muscle. And I've been told by high-level sources over and over again, there's a plan to bring in communist Chinese troops up from Mexico on the Baja side, and that big giant port they've got, the biggest in the world they're building, and to bring them up and call them stability troops as an I-4 mission of the UN. Now that's being discussed. And now the Chinese government can run what movies we have and control. And I used to hear that and think, you guys, this is some bait and switch where we got to worry about some outside enemy. And now I realize, I look at it all and go, my gosh, they really are planning that. And that's what the weathermen raising Obama, it came out in federal documents, they admitted it. Grafwald heard them and they admitted in court that they were going to bring the communist Chinese in to middle America. They've had this plan forever. I just can't believe it. It's so crazy. And with a straight face, they go, you can't pack your kids' lunches. You can't see your kids at school. We're putting barbed wire fences up. Your kids belong to us. We're going to give them shots all over the country. They give shots and they give the kids shots without asking the parents. Let's go to other calls. I'm just marveling. I'm sorry. Michael, in Kentucky, you're in the Army. What's your take on all this? And do you know anybody that's been given this training that Christians are the new enemy?
Former Army, and the reason why I'm not there anymore is because they did ask me that question. And what I think about all of it is that they, as a non-commissioned officer, which we are the backbone of the military, I'd urge all NCOs listening to your program to remember what your oath is. And I am an oath keeper also. And you keep that squared away high and tight. And when this thing kicks off, we're going to win.
You know what I'm saddest about? Not only will we lose a lot of good patriots in this, the average cop and military person we're going to be fighting doesn't even know what they're part of. I really don't want to have to kill these people to defend my family, but I'll do whatever I have to once it starts.
But it's nobody wants to do that, okay? But the initiation of the action is once it's on, okay? And you take those snot-nosed kids that are police officers now, and sheriffs who haven't got a clue that they're supposed to be there for the people. Well, when this kicks off, they're not going to be able to withstand the onslaught from the citizenry, ex-military, people that are mad. There's weapons everywhere. They're going to try it, and it's going to get ugly, and you don't want to have to do that. But
well, look, I want to say this: I'm not even in a defensive, going to be offensive. They start it because I'm obviously a political type leader. But my issue is, I know they're going to come after me. I'm not going to just lay down to these people. And that's not bad. I mean, that's my right to stand up against the initiation of force.
Yeah, you're exactly right. But the best defense is on the offense.
I know.
And you're on the offense with the program, everything that you guys are doing on the website. You're waking people up right and left. Every day. I'm out here on a pipeline right now. Okay, and there's probably a crew of 90 out here. And as an inspector, I'm walking around talking to them, and 85% of these guys are awake. I'm seeing InfoWars out here inside of tool trailers. Okay, the best defense is an offense, and I would urge the public that has never been in the military. Okay, I wouldn't get on the offense. Let former military and reservists and anybody that's got the right mind, let them get on the offense.
But then that's another question. Who do you get on the offense against? Obviously, it's the globalist operatives, the politicos that are going to be trying to command the military and police into the fight. Those are the people that think they're going to sit back in Terrytown or wherever and call the shots. It isn't going to work that way.
Well, at the tip of the spear. Okay, and the tip of the spear is that idiot from any town, USA, that's willing to do their bidding. That's who we're after. That locks a lot of things up. all of a sudden the true believers in what they're doing aren't going to be true believers anymore.
They're not just shoving housewives around anymore? It's not fun anymore?
Yeah, it's all of a sudden it's real serious.
I just can't believe the communists with a bunch of crazy bankers are going to try this. I mean, they are nuts, man. I tell you, fortune favors the bold. They know that. Well, good talking to you. Interesting call from Kentucky. Michael knows what he's talking about. You know they're going to have a lot of trouble in Kentucky. They're going to use nerve gas, though. We got those documents via the Sunshine Project. Don't think this is going to be fun. Jim and others, we're going to get to you. We got a guest coming up, and if you can hold, I'll get to you. We're going to get John Perkins on about 25 minutes. Then I'll go back to you if you can hold. If not, hang up. We'll be right back. Stay with us.
Hello, this is Hank Hill, and I'm telling you what, you need to listen to Alex Jones.
Yeah. Infowars.com.
Judge, what is the secret of the universe?
Infowars.com.
I told you this was in the law. We've been telling you for 3 years this is how they're going to do it. Fox News is now reporting that opt-out Obamacare penalty can't be enforced unless you get a tax refund. And I don't care what the law says. The IRS doesn't follow a law. They're going to take the money out of your bank account as well. But Fox News is now reporting that. That's up on drudgereport.com. Up on Infowars.com, Fort Hood soldiers told that Christians, Tea Partiers are a radical terror threat and you're not allowed to give money to them, violating their First Amendment. I mean, that is beyond authoritarianism. Healthcare.gov, Team Obama and its dysfunctional 500 million lines of code. N.W.O has an article. BRICS countries build new internet to avoid NSA spying. Shock, cop buy shoplifter groceries. Feds order school to ban packed lunches without doctor's note. That is such a big story up on Infowars.com. It's expanding nationwide. It is a federal order. I told you that 2 years ago in Chicago and then in Denver. It is a federal order. That's the news. Confirmed. The schools are saying you must eat the GMO. Your mommy and daddy can't pack you food. Think of the message to the kids. I mean, in the Soviet Union, they let parents pack lunches. I mean, whoa, nobody. In North Korea, this is unbelievable. I'm ranting. Let's go to Jim. Then we're going to go to Daniel. Everybody else, these are former military police, current military police, Department of Defense civilian. What do you think of being told, or have you been told, have you heard about this new thing of don't give money to any mainline libertarian or Republican group or we'll arrest you, and don't give money to a Christian group or we'll arrest you? What do you make of that?
Well, I make out of it that they're attacking patriots, and specifically they're trying to undermine fathers. Any sense of alpha male in the house or in the community, they want to tear it out because they want to prey on the women and children specifically.
That's right. They're now going to make Marines wear women's hats.
Yes.
I mean, these are a bunch of perverts. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. They humiliate us out here. I'm in Los Angeles. My son, he goes to school in Culver City. He's 8 years old. And I had a principal actually tell me there at the school that government is the best thing to slice bread to raise our children. And I had to debate him on that and tell him that, you know what, as an educator, you should be ashamed to even say something like that because the Constitution should have been in your curriculum at some standpoint during your tenure. And at this stage, we're sending out an SOS here from Los Angeles because we need patriots here. We need more people who stand on the Constitution. This guy interrogated my son about the firearms that we have in our home. And he then called the police, Culver City PD. They followed up with CPS. CPS actually came out and said that the allegations were laughable. They said that I was neglecting my children because I own firearms.
I know. Doctors call the CPS. And again, they're not liberals. They're authoritarians. And there's no law. There's no nothing. They send CPS, and you're blessed you didn't get a bad one, because about half of them are really bad, and they try to take your kids when you own legal guns. I mean, California is how the whole country's going to be, my friend.
You have to rescind your consent. That was the first thing I said to him over the phone. I said, I rescind my consent. I don't give you any consent to come here or do anything. And the lady, these people speak a certain verbiage and a certain legalese that you have to stand up to them. If you don't, they're going to roll over you. They're going to do what they want to, and they're coming for our kids. They're predators out there. These people are predators, and there's a system.
I know.
The child support system, the welfare system, the family courts, the schools, they're all in cahoots. They all work together.
Oh, no, when you go to have a baby, and they sit there and go and kick the dad out of the room, go out of the room, please, sir. And they go, you got enough money? Is he treating you nice? And the wife doesn't know. They're putting you in a database. If she says, no, we don't have any money, but his mom's helping us out or whatever, they take your kids.
The doctors, they're in there as well. They're taking in as much information as possible. Don't tell them anything. Spin them around. Tell them, control your PR. Tell them what you want to tell them. So
that's right. That's right. Anything connected to the government or big corporations is the enemy. Folks, I'm not kidding. This is a scientific enemy we're fighting. We've got to oppose them everywhere. Why is nascent iodine so important?
Nascent iodine is so important because it goes directly to the thyroid. It's not bonded to a salt, which means it doesn't have to be broken down, and it's the most usable form. It's what the body uses. It's what the body is designed to use. If you have low energy levels, if you have pains, if you have thyroid problems, if you don't feel up to par, well, they've proven now that the fluoride and a lack of iodine causes a decreased IQ because you have all this stuff that builds up inside your system and builds up and builds up. And that's why some people, when they start taking iodine, will have what's called a Herxheimer reaction or a detoxification reaction. But that's a good sign. That means you're detoxifying all that fluoride buildup, the mercury buildup in there, the bromine buildup in your system, and the chlorine buildup in your system. You don't want those things. All of those things have been proven as carcinogens. That's one of the reasons prostate cancer is on the rise too, is because prostate takes up iodine, and the men that are lacking iodine causes the prostate to become cystic and causes the prostate to swell and eventually leads to prostate cancer. There's been an extreme rise in polycystic ovarian disease, PCOS, with women, fibrocystic breast disease, because iodine is stored in the breast tissue, the ovaries, the prostate glands in men. It's utilized by every single cell in the body.
Why does this almost taste good compared to other iodine that tastes horrible? That's because it's real iodine atomic form.
We wanted something that's going to go straight into the bloodstream and straight into the thyroid gland. We wanted to put it in a vegetable glycerin base. That's a USP kosher certified vegetable glycerin base. And that product is not tested on animals. It's vegan friendly. It's gluten free. It's GMO free.
Of all the things I've done, nascent iodine was just absolutely amazing. So we developed with Dr. Group a double strength, low price. InfoWarsLife.com, Survival Shield, the atomic nascent iodine, available right now. They're going to take all these poor fools that went and signed up at Obamacare. They're going to take their tax refunds, and they're going to hit your bank accounts. I shouldn't laugh. My dad says he listens to the show every day, and he wishes I would stop laughing. He says he knows I'm doing it because it's like hurting me, so I have to laugh and make a sick joke out of it. But at the same time, I mean, these people want to be hurt. I mean, they're going to wreck my family and my future as well, so I guess they deserve it. All these Obama supporters, so stupid. Let me shut up and go back to the police and military calling in. If you just joined us, it's official. Fort Hood and other bases are saying don't give money to the Tea Party or any evangelicals. They're terror groups, and that you'll be arrested for funding terrorists. They won't be arrested for shipping guns and weapons to Al-Qaeda or training them, but if you give money to a mainline evangelical church with 10,000 members, you're going to be court-martialed. Let's go ahead and talk to Daniel in Minnesota, who's Army. Thanks for holding. You're on the air. Go ahead. What's your take on all this?
Hey, Alex. Last month we didn't go in. I'm a reservist. I also do line haul truck driving. But we didn't go in last month, so I haven't gotten a briefing like that yet. But what I did get about September of last year, September 1st, in fact, I'd just graduated from the truck driving school, and they told me I had to be on a conference call. I said, look, man, I got 200 some odd miles to get home. Do I have to have it? My sergeant told me, he said, look, it is a Homeland Security call. You will be on it. period. So I'm going down the road. I'm listening to everything that they're saying. They stood up a sea burn team, Alex. Our entire mission was our area of operation is everything west of the Mississippi, and what CBRN is a chemical nuclear, weapons and stuff like that. We were to respond to that and any of the national, like these big natural disasters and stuff.
Sure, and I want to be clear, because I've been following this 18 years, that's the EOD mission and the NBC mission is always the cover. And then once you get to the briefings, we have video of them, then it shifts to domestic extremists, and that's the real mission. But go ahead.
Yeah, see, that's what, that's always in the back of your mind. And I'm hoping to God that that's not what this is. But, I mean, me and a couple of my buddies at my unit, we're listeners. We know my platoon sergeant is, he knows what's going on and stuff. He's the biggest security threat to the United States military. Let me tell you, information goes out, he processes it, and it goes right back out, So he's been biting his tongue when I talk about it. And, we started looking at all the guys that are on this mission because we got attached to a different unit. Alex, I mean, we're talking about combat arms, tankers, scouts, infantry, all old, that's their previous.
But see, you just said it. I told you, it's not NBC going out and washing people off. That's always the PR to acclimate the public to the military. Exactly. No, that's the cover of the mission. You're saying these are combat groups being prepared.
Basically. Well, that was our previous jobs. Our new jobs are like, 88 mics and dealing with chemical stuff. But, almost everybody is like their new job is truck driving, but their old stuff was combat arms. And, my dad's been asking me, Alex, and he's been asking me because I was one of the many soldiers that actually disarmed Sadr City, Iraq. We went house to house and took...
Hold on, I want to hear this. So finish it on the other side. Give us 1 minute. Then I promise we'll go to Jason. Then we'll go to William, Leslie, Truth Raider, and others. I'm Alex Jones. Ladies and gentlemen, they are converting the military into an army to attack Christians and gun owners. Ask yourselves, what are you doing in this time of great challenge? What are you doing to unlock minds? How will Obamacare's uninsured penalty work? And then it goes on to say they're going to take your refund, which they've always done to make you get the idea that the IRS is actually giving you a check, even though on average you get back a lot less than you pay in. They just want to set the precedent that they control your check. It's all about, hardly any other country takes the money from you first. You pay it after. We're such slaves because we think we're so free. What's the Bible verse? None are so enslaved as those that think they are free. Let's go to Daniel in Minnesota, whose Army is in the National Guard, and he's seeing the reorganization of everything that's happening. And when you say the guys are awake, what's been waking them up?
I honestly don't know, Alex. These are all guys, a lot of guys that are awake, they're actually, sadly to say, are ex-Navy, but they're some of the best NCOs I've ever had. It's just stuff that they've seen in the past. It's stuff that they're seeing now, and it's they can count 1 + 1 = 2. They're seeing the bigger picture. They're not watching, just this or that. But, it's one of those things, for everybody, it's something different. And when you take a group like what we've been set up for, and you put it all together and put us under Homeland Security, and, as soon as this happened was the hurricane out on the East Coast. We didn't get no calls for that. Since then we've had tornadoes up in Oklahoma, not too far where we are. Because
that's right. Your new mission is preparing for combat against the American people, and that's on record. You're now under Homeland Security, and they put a Department of Defense guy over that, and it's this new 5th branch that answers to El Jefe, whoever the president happens to be. It is a classic takeover strategy. And it may not happen under Obama. It might happen in 10 years under some new president. But the point is, I've never seen the orders going as low as the privates. I mean, just 10 years ago or 4 or 5 years ago even, this type of stuff was being tested with generals. It wasn't going into lower-level officers or even non-commissioned. It's going all the way. But finish your point about disarming people in Iraq, because I remember reading several Pentagon documents and even a MIT report calling Iraq a laboratory for domestic operations in civil unrest, gun confiscation, and even Army Times has reported on what they call Brigade Homeland and that mission. So again, what people are hearing for the first time, if you just tuned in, all this is mainline documents. We shot a special report last night. I'll give people the name of in a moment, and I'm going to tweet out to folks. But tell us about gun confiscation, what that, how that happens, what that is like.
We actually ran a 16-man platoon because we was armor. So that puts about maybe, I'd say at most, maybe 10 of our guys on the ground. And at, either evenings or nights, depending on our shift, Alex, we'd go, house to house down a block, kicking in doors. Or, sometimes it was just as nice as, knocking on it and saying, Shaku Maku Habibi. And we'd go in and talk to them. And while our lieutenant's sitting there talking to them, we'd be searching the house. And whenever we found weapons, we'd just take them. We and the people there was, stupid enough, we'd, take a, fake computer or something and be like, hey, this is telling us that there's a weapon here. Where is it? And they'd hand it to us, But it's not always, the aggression. But when we hit something with aggression, Alex, you couldn't stop us. We had our infantry hit a house 2 times trying to pick up a high-value target. They couldn't do it. When we went in and 10 men, actually it was less than that. I think it was 6 men on the ground that night. We hit that house so hard that my sergeant, he kicked the door. It actually came off the hinges. And this wasn't, no light, door. It was a heavy door. He kicked it off the hinges, went in there, and we was literally walking over top of people, ran upstairs, grabbed the dude before he could get out of his bed, and chunked him down the stairs. It's a force that you can't really stop.
Unless you fortified your doors, and absolutely. But once a shooting war starts, people are not going to sit in their house and wait, as you know. And, of course, most of the Iraqis, from what I've read, tell me if I'm right, were not using their guns to actually attack forces that had invaded their country. They were using it for self-defense. They had their own Second Amendment.
Oh, yeah. That's basically what it is. And, they can get AK-47 there, cheaper than some of their food sometimes. Cheaper than their medicine. They're so abundant. We used to take them that are nickel-plated, silver-plated with ivory and stuff on them. It was, just truly amazing. But, that's the thing. We have to stand together. And I was talking to, apparently, a mutual person of ours, and I wanted to ask you about him off air.
A mutual person. All right, well,
yes.
You're piped into the Minnesota phone system, and then they pipe it through to me. I just do that so I have backups and satellite uplinks. So I'll put you on hold, and you can relay the question at the break to John Harmon, and then I can talk to you that way. So I'll put you on hold, Daniel, and come back to you off air. Just, John, get the question, and I'll relay it to you and then over to him. I don't want to, pipe it through the system, because sometimes they can go on the air, one chance out of 1,000. I want to go back to the phone calls. There's some breaking news. Will Obamacare grab your paycheck? Will it grab your bank account? Will Obamacare grab your tax refund? You bet they will, and that's how they're planning to do it. They say there's a fine, but they won't tell you how they're going to get it. Well, it's actually in the law. And that report is up at drudgereport.com. We're linking to it up on Infowars.com right now. We keep telling you that's in the law. That's how this works. Now, there is a report up on the website that I'm also going to tweet out where we broke down last night in detail in a 15-minute report, emergency alert, soldiers warn of coming gun confiscation. And I'm going to have this reposted to Infowars.com because it scrolled off the front page. And I'm going to tweet it out during the break to Real Alex Jones, because we've put these reports out before, and they've gotten almost 3 million views, which is great because it's not our regular 3 million listeners a day. It's new people that end up seeing this. It's military that end up seeing this. And then they get all the intelligence. They'll see the Emergency Centers Establishment Act on the video. They'll see the civilian inmate labor camp program. They'll see Forbes magazine and AP admitting the military brass is being prepared for gun confiscation so that it won't happen. They want to be able to get it all ready, line it up, stage some big event, and then roll it out. We got to blow them up before their rocket gets off the ground. I mean, that's what we do here, is we try to stop a civil war. We try to stop bloodshed. I got a wife and 3 kids. I'm looking for this. I think we can fix things peacefully. We're starting to win in the info war, and they know that, and they're going to start something big, folks. That's what I'm trying to get across to you. The criminal interest that'll make money off a civil war in a wrecked country. And please, to the police out there especially, a lot of you have been handpicked now because you're imperious and, you know, you're very arrogant. It's very saddening. It doesn't humiliate me when I see police being rude and mean to people. It doesn't make me feel little like, oh, I'm being dominated. It makes me sad for your ancestors and who you are. And also, if you guys continue where this is leading, I mean, it's leading somewhere really, really bad. So I'm going to tell you again, mister, I'm not looking for a fight. And we're not looking for a fight, mister, but you better stop. Because the higher-ups are offshore. They think they're safe. They know full well what's going to happen if this goes down. And I know most police I talk to on the street are actually nice and say they're awake. But then I run into cops constantly acting just wild. And I getting jacked up even on my own show, you know, doing a job. It's easier to get the job done if you get jacked up. But it's this whole attitude that you train like we're the enemy and we're the threat. Tyranny is the threat. And they treat some housewife like, you know, they do some guy with, like, prison tattoos on them. And I'm done. I'm tired of it. I haven't done anything wrong. I'm tired of being treated like I'm evil. Let's go to Jason in Missouri, who's Army and police. Thank you for calling in and holding. Sir, you're on the air.
How you doing today, Alex?
I'm doing all right. What is your take on all the stuff you've heard?
Well, I have 5 points that even if you got to hold me over, you've got to hear. I've got to get this out. I'm calling from mid-Missouri. I am prior Army. I was honorably discharged. In 95, our unit, and I was in a medical unit, we received an involuntary survey form from our platoon sergeant. You could not leave the facility with it. Matter of fact, you couldn't even leave the gymnasium with it. It was yes or no question. Keep in mind, 1995, 96 at the latest. The questions were as follows. The ones that I remember. Would you fire upon American citizens armed? Would you fire upon American citizens unarmed? Would you quarantine American cities in times of national emergency? So this was 95. They were on a yellow card, the equivalent of the back, like your checkbook, that yellow card that's in the back, and
Sure.
Every one of us filled it out. So I would like to use your platform right now to reach out to all my previous veteran friends that know what I'm talking about. This was mid-Missouri. Call in, either call in on the hotline on Infowars.com, leave your name, your number. That's how we're going to get this out, is to get enough veterans to come forward and say, hey, we've been probed 10, 20 years ago for this very thing.
I'm going to hold you over. This is so important. I'm going to hold you over because we got plenty of time this hour, and we're going to get to everybody else that's patiently holding as well. But, sir, see, this is how we're all compartmentalized. That actually came out in the news then that was happening. And then a 29 Palms professor, a teacher, put out a mock one so he could put it out public and not break the law. He put a copy out but called it his own survey to see if they would do it. And he said that. I've interviewed him. Like, we should get him back on. I forget that gentleman's name. But the point is that this has been going on for a long, long time. And that's the good news, is they tried this in the mid-90s under Clinton, and now they're trying it again. The problem is they've made some headway in 20 years or 18 years on this. The special report is 16 minutes long. It's up on Infowars.com, but I'm going to have it reposted under a new headline to get even more attention. It's Emergency Alert, Soldiers Warn of Coming Gun Confiscation. That's the special report from the Nightly News last night with myself, Rob Dew, and many others, with the whistleblowers and the documents of the mass gun confiscation plan. I'm going to have this reposted to Infowars.com, but really the headline should read, Obama prepares military for nationwide gun confiscation. Or Obama readies military for nationwide gun confiscation, and then we will tweet that out once it's on Infowars.com. Because for military that's only gotten part of this is not all of it. It'd be hundreds of documents, but there's a good 15 news articles and documents in there, so that they can see the informational and then see it for themselves, and it's not just me up here saying all of this, so that they can then add pieces of the puzzle as well. But this is not even pieces to a puzzle now. Now, let's go back. I'm going to shut up for the rest of the segment and let Jason, who's a police officer in Missouri, he was talking about in 95 getting these cards. We found the 29 Palms survey from 1994. Let's put that on screen while he talks, dealing with gun confiscation. And the last question asking if they would indeed do that, the Combat Arms survey. But that was actually 1994, May 10th. But let's go ahead now and go back to our guest and go ahead and finish. So you made your first point about that. Go ahead and make your other points.
Okay, well, like I said, I've got several points that I've got to get off to you because it's been so hard to get onto your show. Second point is I woke up to your show specifically after the second election. So I guess my question would be, at what point, why was the big push for the states to secede from the Union? That's how I discovered you. All of a sudden, after the second election, maybe I was just asleep. I always knew there was a certain level of tyranny. Since '88, since Bush Sr. made that comment, my brother's been preaching to me, dude, the New World Order, but you never saw anything. But there again, I was lackadaisical, which I think most of the country has been. Even being a veteran, nothing ever really threatens us. And I think that's one of the reasons we're in the situation we're in now. So I do have one quick question to educate me as to what pushed you and Ron Paul to push the states seceding from the Union. That's when I woke up.
Well, when I said secede, it's in the Declaration of Independence. It's not our right, it's our duty, that when the governments become destructive of our basic liberties, that it's our job to create a new government. Well, I like the old republic. It's obviously the best system out there. Most historians agree. And so I was saying, let's not secede to end America. Let's secede to have the states pull back, declare the Washington FedGov illegitimate and occupied and captured, to then reestablish the republic. And so that was the plan I developed, that a lot of constitutional scholars, advisors to Congress, like Dr. Edwin Vieira and countless others, Lou Rockwell, many others, that concurred. They said, no, your plan was actually talked about by Thomas Jefferson, because they had problems then as well, and said, let's just abolish this again and do it again. Because, you know, it's like when something's really bad, sometimes you got to tear down a house if it's rotten and use the same blueprint that made it so good. But do you see my point there?
Yeah, exactly. And I agreed with you. I just didn't understand because I hadn't been paying attention. And that was my question. If I could have high-fived you, I would have been like, good job, brother. Actually, I texted you a bunch. I was for 2 months. For 2 months, my wife can tell you, I was steeped in following you and just trying to catch up. I was so far behind the 8 ball. And keep in mind, I'm a police officer, I'm a veteran, and I was behind the 8 ball. I was asleep at the wheel. So at the point that I woke up, right after the second election, I went on to YouTube, and it was just, to use your phrase that you've coined, it was unbelievable. I'm like, why are we not seeing this stuff on Fox News? Well, then I'm educated to the point they're all bought off. It's too late for that. So coming through the timeline, how I was just 24 hours a day. I was just living this, trying to learn as much as I could from you, because you were the primary one.
And by the way, that's a normal response too. When I found out about this stuff, I've been on the air a couple of years. I was more like a mainline libertarian. And then all of a sudden I had police and military giving me all this info, and people thought I was crazy. But I had all the documents, and I witnessed it. We're almost out of time. We're going to come back with more calls. But tell me real fast, are there any other points you wanted to make?
All right. So right after that, I started telling everybody that I could. I had an opportunity to speak with the sitting Missouri state senator.
We got to stop again. I'm sorry. Stay there because that's only a 6-minute segment. 18-minute segment coming up. We'll finish up with you in a couple minutes, Jason. Then we'll go to William, who's been holding for a while. Lindsay, Sid, Truth Raider, and everybody else. We're going to get to everybody as fast as I can when we come back, but this is important. Let him make his other points real quick. Then I got a whole plethora of other important news that we're going to be covering as well. Many anthropologists and archaeologists believe that before man even discovered the power to harness and use fire, we were involved in agrarian activities. That is, taking the seeds of plants and then replanting them to produce more. The very foundation of our modern civilization and human culture is centered around the planting and cultivation of edible plants.
Here are some of the amazing deals at InfoWars Seed Center at InfoWarsShop.com.
The Survival Seed Vault by My Patriot Supply features only the finest survival heirloom seeds for a robust and hardy garden, even in the toughest times. We also have starter varieties of the deluxe seed packages for fruit, salad, salsa, peppers, medical herbs, and more.
Go to the InfoWars Seed Center at InfoWarsShop.com.
And remember, the revolution against tyranny is growing. Many anthropologists. Let's just be clear here. I'm going to race through your calls and cover a ton of news, just the headlines I haven't gotten to yet, a bunch of new breaking news as well. Just remember, they're not just training to confiscate the firearms and admitting it. They're telling troops you can't give money to a Tea Party group. And that's totally illegal. That's like the mafia. That's racketeering to tell people what they can and can't do in their own lives. That's legal. And we're going to court-martial you if you're an evangelical Christian or give money to it. That's Fox News reporting that. And I already knew about this from sources, and it had been some of it in the news earlier this year. But it's just, I can't even believe how criminal the people are that run this government. And we cannot sit there and follow their orders. So real fast, Jason in Missouri, police officer, former Army, dropping the bombshell. Go over your points, but I got to ask you briefly, because this is what I've been told by others, and we know they're doing it now. I mean, it's on record. They're training for it, and gun confiscation. We had the Navy SEAL on 2 days ago covering it. But when you're in there being asked, will you fire on American citizens, to then gauge what unit you can be stuck in, because if you say yes, you get promoted, obviously. It's total evil. What were people saying after you guys walked out of the gymnasium being asked if you would fire on American citizens or confiscate their guns?
You know, I thought about that because I figured you might ask me that, or another caller might ask that. Honestly, it's been so long ago, I don't remember. However, I do remember everybody felt very uneasy, which one of the last points that I'm going to make, this has happened again with somebody that I know who's in the Navy, and I'll tell you his response to his dad. So I can get off here so the next guy can call. Just let me finish my point. I was speaking with a Missouri State Senator who I had met through my other job, and I said, "Sir, what's going on in Washington?" I was told he was a senator. He said, "Oh, no, I'm a Missouri State Senator." He said, "But I know what you mean." I was like, "Man." And I told him about you, and I told him about what I learned. He confirmed everything about UN Agenda 21. He said, "It is so bad." He said that he was thinking about getting out. And I said, "Well, why? We need good people like you in there." He looked me straight in the eyes, Alex, and this is exactly what he said, and I quote. He said, "I will have nothing to do with what is fixing to befall the American people." And my stomach come up in my throat. His wife is to his left. She's crying, and I said, "Have I done something?" She said, "No." She said, "I fought this for years. I thought he was just nuts about this stuff." But she said, "What I have learned being a senator's wife," she said, "I know that it's 100% fact." He said, "Immediately start stockpiling guns, water, food, and ammo." He said, "That's all I can tell you." I said, "Well, what do we do? Is there something we can do at the state level?" He said, "I'm going to inform you what I know." He said the Missouri State Senate had already, at that point, now this was the week of Christmas last year. This is prior to any of the shooting. He said the Missouri State Senate had already voted to secede from the Union, but our governor said not yet. I said, "Well, what are we waiting for?" He said, "That's a good question." He said, "But there is a plan in place to remove him from power if need be." He said, "I cannot discuss anything further." I've been trying to call into the show for months to let you know this.
Well, no, I know this stuff's all going on. I mean, even David Dewhurst, his former top CIA and establishment, says the government's pure evil, has lost credibility, and has to be removed because they're going to it's going to be a red takeover. Again, it's foreign banks doing it, but they're going to use a red takeover agenda. And they're really planning it. And the Civil War because enough cops and military will follow the orders to start a civil war. And enough citizens are going to end up going, who are just waiting and are fed up. It's going to be a disaster. And then the commies are going to just wait while we kill each other and then come in later. And then the foreign banks have set this all up, and that's basically what people are talking about. And there's the Atlantic Wire. Who knew? Secession again on the agenda in Missouri. It basically, breaks down what you were just talking about from last year. So I appreciate your call, sir. Yes, that's why at that time I called for the Second American Revolution in the info war to have the states pull out. The feds will say it's illegitimate. We counter, you're not even a federal government. Because you are supposed to have the feds keep the states in check, the states keep the feds in check, balance of power, just like two sides of Congress, just like the judiciary, the legislative, the executive, the fourth estate, the media, the fifth estate, the juries. I mean, you're supposed to have all these checks and balances, or you always, if you have one power structure, you could have a good king or a good leader. They're going to die. The bad guys are going to kill them in a palace coup to put bad guys in. That's why you almost always get bad guys with a centralized system. They've had a few dozen good kings, philosopher kings, in world history, the last 6,000 recorded years of history, and you do get incredible leaps forward during those periods. Not that a philosopher king's the way to go, but compared to the horrible, corrupt systems they had of corrupt royal families and their courts, if you ever got a king who actually wanted to empower people and really inform people and really build things and really, even if it was for their own arrogant reasons, you would get incredible civilizations out of that. Well, a free society, a free market society, will create so much wealth. The problem is you then become decadent. So how do you gauge that to be a free market society that's incredibly rich, but then the corruption sets in? And so that's why we pull out now. If the states all pulled out and said, the New World Order captured us, foreign banks captured us, we're going to do like Iceland did, we're going to forget all this foreign debt, communist Chinese, you actually are owed $2 trillion. We will pay you that back. That's nothing with the faith and credit of the U.S. if we don't let them wreck us. They want to wreck us so bad, shutting off the power plants, shutting off the infrastructure, shutting off the jobs, bringing in the giant third world populations to be client state groups. They want to blow our engine out so they can capture us. And basically, if we were a ship, use the corny Star Wars analogy, you got the Star Destroyer chasing the counselor ship, and they're shooting at each other, and they want to blow the engine so they can suck us up. I mean, but America is big. I mean, it's like trying to eat an elephant. And so they got a problem. And now they're already collapsing the world system to bring in the world government, but everybody's awake to them who matters. And so it's this Mexican standoff that I talked about earlier, where we're both pointing guns at each other, basically. And we need to convince people out there that the rights... Look, even if we were going to lose, ladies and gentlemen, even if we were going to lose, we would have to say no to this because it's so horrible what the end game of it is. I said I'd go to your calls. William, who's police, thank you for holding, from Tennessee. William, what is your take on all this?
Yes, sir. I had some just different information. Like your last caller, I've been trying to get on for a little while. I assist in the grant writing at my department, and we got a COPS grant, which is an acronym for Community-Oriented Policing. And the government has put out basically like a survey, and for us to keep the grant and to be eligible to get more federal assistance, we're supposed to complete these surveys. We're supposed to go door to door, and we're asking a lot of outlandish questions that have caused me great alarm. Yeah, basically it's a knock and talk to get the federal money, which then conditions the public and the police to have non-traditional police activities. You're now going to be given a political police officer Soviet Commissar job. This is Commissar training. It's going on nationwide. Tell folks about it. It's a bunch of just random questions about how many people are in your household, how many people have medical conditions, do you have any firearms. And then there's some standard questions about, you know, gross income. And this is all done on a voluntary, I'm sorry, I just got cut off.
No, you're there. You're there.
It's done on a voluntary, you know, basis, but we're intimidating to the public, and it's just the way things have gone over the last couple of years, and it's horrible, and it's definitely something that I didn't know if we're like being a test market or this is happening nationwide. Have you heard anything else about this?
Yes, sir. They call it knock and talk under federal grants that started about 15 years ago, but police departments just started refusing the money because they did it in Dallas, they did it in Austin, they did it all over Texas, where they would come and knock and say, we'd like to inspect your guns and see if they're safe. In Boston and in New York, they actually forced their way in. They've got units of police that'll do that to go, well, I don't care. I want to see if there's guns to get the federal money. And they put that on the news. You can pull up Knock and Talk in Boston. You can actually find that on YouTube. And it shows the families being basically forcing their way in. Kind of like federal grants. If the police department wants the federal grant, they've got to set up a checkpoint. That's not a checkpoint, but it really is. To just ask if you want to give some DNA, and then people get so scared they do it. And again, it's priming the pump. Just like if you're about to start a lawnmower and you hit the button a couple points to prime it with gas. So yeah, they slipped that gun question in there. And really, they're probing the departments to see if you comply. They're probing the officers to see if you can comply. They're conditioning you to do things you don't like. We're all being socially engineered. We're all being hammered. And yes, it's going on under different guises. So Knock and Talk was so unpopular. Starting 3 years ago in select areas, they started having the police go out and call it community survey assistance in the documents I saw. I think it was out of Missouri, speaking of Missouri. And they go to the door, and then they say, oh, we just got a few questions for you, ma'am, as a supplement to the census and community policing. And again, real community policing is where the cops got a beat. Everybody knows him. You know, the cop sits there and throws the football with you in the front yard when he doesn't have a call, like, you know, folks growing up 50, 60 years ago. This is the opposite of that. This is spy policing. This is interrogation policing. This is not community policing.
I have a copy of that form if there's a way I can get it to you guys if you'd like it for your records.
Yes, sir. CC it to showtips@infowars.com, and I'm going to put you on hold here for a moment, and I'm going to give you one of the emails that doesn't get thousands a day to make sure we don't lose it. And obviously, it's not wrong for you to show me that form, but still they might mess with you. I would advise you, because it'll just give the NSA more trouble, to pay with cash from someplace and scan it there and send it to us, or use your, I don't want to sit there. I mean, you should be able to send me that. Just make the decision whether you want them to know or not, because let me just tell everybody something right now. They watch everything that comes in here. I mean, it's unbelievable. So, I mean, they follow me around when I leave here. It's a lot of, so I live like a little, I'm not even worried about it, whatever. But the point is that, yes, please send me that. Showtips@infowars.com, and then I'm going to put you on hold, and then I'm going to tell John Harmon, covering my mouth here, which email to send that to. So thank you very much. Don't hang up, William. I'm going to go on hold here. Okay, fantastic. I just gave, in fact, John already knew which email to send it to. And send that to me. I mean, if I was a cop, I wouldn't care. If they're going to mess with you or go to your department and try to, you know, put you on a list because you sent us their little federal thing, there's nothing wrong. It's not a secret document. I'm just saying, obviously, the cop knows that, but just I want to remind people. So when somebody comes to work here, I tell them up front, you might end up getting put in a gulag down the road if we lose this thing. So I'm not kidding. So just know. And if they ever think they can intimidate you, they will try. So, and everybody just commits. I mean, it's surprising how much courage the average person has when they know they're in the right. But they need a community of people to stand together. And that's why police chiefs are becoming little federal minions more and more, because they should stand behind officers just to be good people. I mean, come on. This is not rocket science to do this kind of stuff. So, yes. Also, they're using those databases to index them with the census and to see how you answered the forms. It's kind of like companies will give you a psychological test a couple times, you know, to see how you answer different times, to try to see what type of person you are. I mean, there's just a lot of guinea pig stuff going on. Notice government, it's all secret. And if you want to ask the government a question, you're evil, but then it wants to know everything you're doing. That's backwards. We should know what the government's doing. They shouldn't know what we're doing until we go out and do something wrong. And until we become a known perpetrator. Then the due process, you know, starts to go out the window a little bit because you're a known quantity. Well, these governments are known quantities, ladies and gentlemen. These governments are out of control, not just ours, every other one. It's like a person. You will die. Governments will get taken over and become corrupt. I'm surprised how long ours has survived. It's had a lot of problems. It's been corrupt. But, I mean, this is a takeover. This isn't the American establishment doing this. This is the end of this republic. We're going to break. We're going to talk to Leslie when we come back. Says, survey about bomb threats. Yeah, they're doing those everywhere to create a climate of fear. We're going to go to Truth Raider. And then the others. I'll get to everybody that's on the board now, but no more calls after that. Kurt, Sid, Lindsay, Jason, and Truth Raider. I haven't plugged anything all day here on air. We're 2 hours, 48 minutes into transmission. I am self-funded by viewers and listeners like you. And we're able to have the news division, the filmmaking division, the magazine, the news sites. We're reaching more people every day. We've been able to capitalize ourselves from losing money to being able to make back some of the deficit and be able to continue expanding thanks to some of the product rollouts of the new hidden dash cam system that looks like a rearview mirror that we have at the lowest price anywhere at InfoWarsStore.com. The Pro One water filters and Pro Pure, lowest price, 10% off, promo code WATER. We are sold out until at least 2 weeks from now, but it should be here in 2 weeks. It's being manufactured right now. The nascent iodine, that everybody's been trying and says we've never seen anything like it. Well, that's because I found that it was very, very special the way it's done. It's patented, and it really is amazing. It's Survival Shield, known as a fluoride detox. InfoWarsLife.com or InfoWarsStore.com. You'll find it that way as well. But we do have Modifylon in stock at the lowest price. The lowest price we're allowed to sell it at by the producer of it. It's the clean Southern Hemisphere brown seaweed that has the wide spectrum natural iodine, nascent iodine, because they absorb it that way. So it's in the metabolized form in there, and is also very, very dynamic and very, very powerful. And some people can't handle the, check with your physician first, the detoxing effects of the regular superpowered nascent iodine. So the Modifylon's the way to go. It's not as powerful, but it is powerful. We have that at InfoWarsStore.com. And lastly, I've been taking both of these, 1 week on, 1 week off. Ancient Legacy by InfoWarsHealth.com and Longevity is a whole spectrum of the clean seaweeds and other ocean life. Ocean's Gold, Ancient Legacy, Ocean's Gold, 60 tablets available at InfoWarsHealth.com. That's the Longevity division. You can sign up and get 10% off, or you can sign up and get free shipping when you sign up there at InfoWarsHealth.com for auto ship. You can pay $10 and then get big discounts. So InfoWarsHealth.com or InfoWarsTeam.com if you want to be a distributor. InfoWarsTeam.com, InfoWarsHealth.com, and the Nascent Iodine at InfoWarsLife.com. There's been a Tennessee Naval Base in lockdown after shooting. We'll see what's happening with that straight ahead.
We take this business of waking people up very seriously here at InfoWars. That's why we have such a huge outreach operation. And it wouldn't be possible without the InfoWars magazine. And we have a very special October edition for you. We're going to make it super easy for you to get interactive with your friends and family by giving you these lovely cutout masks. Not one, but two very scary educational tools for you to hit the street.
Join with the collective. Just go to sleep, and when you awaken, it'll be no more free will. And whatever you do, don't get a copy of October's special InfoWars.com magazine. Whatever you do, don't resist. Give in.
260,000 of you could be out there as Obamacare or Prozac, the killer clown.
Hi, kids! It's me, your favorite selective serotonin reuptake inhibitor!
cut along the dotted lines, cut some holes for the eyes, and attach a few rubber bands, and you are ready to wake up America this Halloween.
Remember, kids, Obamacare is for you and your family, and so is Prozac and Ritalin. So whatever you do, don't secure your copy of InfoWars magazine and resist, because death is good for you.
You can pick up your copy today at the InfoWars store. You can always buy these in bulk at cost, and for a limited time, the annual subscription is just $39.95. Call now because operators are standing by.
Obama will love you.
Because people need to know that Obamacare is bone-chillingly frightening.
Tennessee Naval Base in lockdown after shooting. The naval base in Millington, Tennessee is on lockdown after a shooting, local media reported. Navy officials confirmed that the incident was near the naval support activity in Millington. NBC station WMC-TV in Memphis, citing city officials, reported that at least 2 people had been shot near the base, and they were both reportedly in non-critical condition. Well, that's good news then. I hope nobody dies. Also, NSA monitoring calls of 35 world leaders after U.S. official handed over contacts. I mean, of course they're spying on foreign leaders. That's what they're supposed to be spying on, not us. I mean, governments all spy on each other. You don't spy on gun owners and Christians and the Associated Press, you criminal government. So, but this is all becoming a big, giant scandal. And by the way, all those governments are spying as well. And I'm not endorsing all of this. The point is espionage always goes on. But the globalists run our government, and they're engaged in espionage against American companies and individuals and people that aren't part of the globalist combine. Do you understand that? It isn't America doing this. It's globalists using America's NSA to run all these scams everywhere and to get dirt on people, including Congress, and that's come out. MI6 has been caught spying on the parliament to blackmail people. I mean, what do you think goes on with shadow government? It's out of control. Let's go to Leslie in North Carolina. You're on the air. Thanks for calling.
Hey, Alex.
Hey, buddy.
Hey, I was calling about 2 issues. One is that my girlfriend, she called for an appointment to the doctor, and they asked her about her religion preference.
Yeah, they're not supposed to do that under political correctness, but instead they do it now for everything.
They done that, and she went to the doctor and had her waiting over an hour for that, and it took her a week to get a prescription that she called for this day she did an appointment. And my grandmother informed me that I talked to her back in the 70s. They used to do that when she called for her appointment. And she also been asked that when she called for her last doctor's appointment.
Well, that's right. They're doing all sorts of stuff. And then if you are a Christian, we found they discriminate against you. These people are anti-Christian. I mean, at the end of the day, driving this is an evil agenda. And they want to extinguish real Christianity. They want to extinguish the family and real manhood and motherhood. And they've done a really good job of it. And now they're telling parents they can't make their children their own lunch under federal guidelines. And I told you that was the case in Chicago. Now it's in Virginia. Now it's in Colorado. And they tell the parents, you will not pack their lunch. The parents bow down and do it. And if you go to a PTA meeting and complain, cops arrest you. We've shown those videos. I don't like my daughter being taught 2 + 2 = 5. Here is the folder. This is crazy. Cop comes up, grabs the guy, you're going to jail.
They also said that on the news, the local news, that about the schools about using local farms and stuff about for school lunches.
What you're saying, they aren't using local farms?
Yeah, that some of them are. That they promote. They want to use local farm, but
well, they're supposed to be independent school districts, and if people on PTA and all this had any brains, that you should try to get your food locally, and they should absolutely. God bless you. Good to hear from you. We just got loaded phone lines as usual. I want to try to get to all these people. We're about to go to break.
Now you can watch the Alex Jones Show live as it happens at Infowars.com/show.
You'll find links to all of our content there and a free 15-day trial for Prison Planet TV.
More than 60 movies and documentaries all in one place at Infowars.com/show.
All right, let's talk to Sid in Alaska, north to Alaska. You're on the air, sir. Welcome.
Hi, Alex.
Hey, buddy.
Nice to talk to you. I want to thank you for, back in 2010, you played my video someone made of me at the Alaska State Fair with the Impeach Obama sign.
I don't remember it, but I'm sure I did.
It was titled, it's on YouTube, it's titled LaRouche Supporter Assaulted by Alaska State Fair Security.
I do remember that now, yes.
So I've been out on the corner here in Palmer, Alaska with the same sign going after Obama. I just wanted to make one point.
Yes, sir.
That Americans, we have an epidemic of cowardice in this country, and people are acting like Obama's going to be out of there any time. Well, they need to realize that he's going to be in there until 2017 if we don't impeach him. And I also want to let your listeners, especially here in Alaska, know that I'm running against Dirt Baggage for Senate next year, Mark Baggage. And I was just going to see if you had any response to that about Obama being in there until 2017.
Well, you know, he's a puppet that's kind of lived out his usefulness, I think, for the globalists politically. But who knows? Anything's possible now. I mean, these public schools under federal command say you can't pack your kids' lunches now. It's not just, it's going nationwide. I mean, there's almost nothing we won't bend over for. And so who knows? I appreciate your call. Let's talk to Kurt. You're on the air. Go ahead.
Hey, Alex, Kurt here. How you doing?
Great, brother.
Hey, man, I was just listening to your show yesterday, and you had a caller that was, you know, talking to you about how they planned on pulling this whole thing off. Well, I think I might have a possible answer for that guy and for your audience. Basically, it dawned on me that they've been running demographs and questionnaires through our military, and I have a sneaking suspicion that our ranks are pro-American, patriotic people just like us, and they're not mindless zombies. So what I think they might do is create a problem overseas, i.e. Syria or any of those things, and they will move all of our troops over there to fight this bullshit war. Ooh, sorry, I accidentally cussed. But once the troops are overseas and gone, then they'll bring in their foreign mercenaries and the mop-up crew to do all the dirty work. What do you think about
appreciate your call. No, I mean, that's always been the plan. The troops that say they won't fire on Americans are loaded up with a huge vaccine regimen to be sent to the most hellish place in the world. And those that say, I want to, you know, take guns, I hate John Wayne, I hate George Washington, on record, they end up being your police chief. I mean, that's how they work. They're a bunch of traitors, and they sit there and now they think they've amassed enough of these guys to do this, but I don't think that's the case. And it's just, we're living in a science fiction movie. I constantly almost pinch myself and like go, this really happening? I've really got the Associated Press saying Pentagon may court-martial soldiers who share Christian faith, soldiers to be court-martialed if they give money to the Tea Party. I mean, what? I mean, it's just like, yeah, they're using the IRS on people that have done nothing wrong. It's incredible. Thank you for the call. Let's talk to Jason in FEMA Region 6. Go ahead. Or 10, excuse me.
Alex, give me just a few minutes to get through this really quick, not even minutes. Number one, born and raised Mennonite. Number two, born-again atheist. I don't have any disposition against any religion. Number three, if you are active duty military, you will keep your mouth shut on this litmus test. You will go along with these people, and you will find out who your brothers in arms are.
Now you can watch Alex Jones live at Infowars.com/show.
You'll find links to all of our content there and a free 15-day trial for Prison Planet TV.
You can also browse the network, the InfoWars Nightly News,
and over 60 movies and documentaries all together in one place.
You can watch the Alex Jones radio show live as it happens.
So check it out, Infowars.com/show.